Hello, my name is Megan Russell, and welcome to episode 8 of A Book and a Dream. Today, I want to talk to you about the top 5 survival lessons I have learned from fantasy. Now, right now, I am recording from another hotel room. I just opened Kinky Boots this week, so did my last performance of the week right before recording this. If you're watching the video, sorry if the stage makeup looks a little bit weird in this lighting. My eyes may be glowing a little strangely. For those of you listening to the podcast edition, just picture some really sparkly eyeshadow and giant fake eyelashes, and you'll get the picture. So, where we're performing at this theater for Kinky Boots, there is a giant courtyard, a cement courtyard, outside the stage door. And it reminded me of how when I was on Fiddler on the Roof National Tour years ago, one of the games that we would play when we got to each new theater was to decide how we would escape a zombie invasion. If zombies were going to attack the theater, how were we going to get out? Or if we had to stay there for the long run because, apocalypse, how were we going to build our community? And some of our favorite venues for building our zombie-proof communities were the ones with the giant cement courtyards right outside the stage door because they have a tendency to have super sturdy loading dock doors, and you could have a nice little garden. So, everything you want for the zombie apocalypse. I mean, except a way to get rid of the zombies. I guess that would make it more ideal. But anyway, did you know that the CDC actually has a zombie survival guide? It's true. You can Google it. I'll also put a link to it in the show notes if you're listening to the podcast, or in whatever posting goes along with it, depending on your video platform of choice. I will link to the CDC Zombie Survival Guide because the CDC realized that there are so many things that you learn through obsessing over The Walking Dead that are actually important survival tips in other situations. Things like assessing your surroundings. Were a natural disaster or something horrible to come racing at you in this theatrical venue you arrived at 2 hours ago, where's your emergency exit? Or if you have to hide from a strange tornado, where is the center of the building? Who knows? Things you think about when you're afraid of zombies that randomly come in handy at other points in time. Which is how we get to the 5 survival tips that I have learned from young adult fantasy. Number 1, don't take candy from strangers. If I learned anything from the Chronicles of Narnia, it's that if some really, really weird lady offers you Turkish delight, say no. Just don't take candy from strangers. It's an awesome life lesson that C.S. Lewis took the time to teach us. Lesson number 2 comes from Harry Potter. J.K. Rowling clearly wanted to let us know that if you mark something as forbidden, it's for a good reason. Forbidden Forest, you go there, bad things happen. Forbidden Corridor, you go there, bad things happen. It seems almost like, I don't know, maybe when people say, don't enter, you could die, they actually mean, don't enter, you could die. That's a very applicable life lesson. Now, true, there are some times, especially in fantasy, where maybe bending the rules and going someplace you shouldn't go leads to an awesome adventure. Or danger that could kill you. So thanks, J.K. Rowling, for telling us that keep out signs are also important. Oh, and while we're on Harry Potter, she also kind of makes a deal about don't take candy from strangers or gifts like, I don't know, a notebook or dreams planted in your head. Basically, don't take things from people you don't know, because when you do, you might die. Survival lesson from fantasy number 3. Enemies can kill you, so can dehydration. In the Hunger Games, obviously Katniss Everdeen is super survival. She can hunt. She can outsmart people. She can do all kinds of things. You know what she can't do? Survive without water. None of us can. No matter how competent you think with your survival or fighting skills or whatever, if you don't have the basic necessities of life, I don't know, water, food, shelter, air, A bow and arrow really isn't going to help you very much. I mean, maybe with the food thing, if there's anything you can hunt, but without the basic things you need to survive, you're gonna die. And dying of dehydration is not good. So make sure you have the basic necessities on hand and not just, bows and arrows. Survival lesson number 4 comes from James Dashner in the Maze Runner series. It's true. The government could be plotting against you. Yeah, maybe there are some evil corporations, and sure, there could be deadly viruses. But you know what can also kill you? Inclement weather. That's right, lightning strikes. Horrible, horrible desert storms. Those things can all get you. So while you're planning on running from bad guys, maybe check out the weather too. Should you be hiding from lightning? Is there a tornado coming? These are all important things to check out in your survival plan. And also, while we're at it, remember not to take candy from strangers. Really, if you think about it, if Harry Potter had just not trusted random strangers, there wouldn't have needed to be 7 books. It really comes down to, I don't know, maybe only trust people you should trust and don't take candy from strangers. Lesson number 5 comes from Neil Shusterman in the Unwind series. I know it's a little bit more of an obscure reference than the other, so don't worry, I'll give you a quick spoiler-free summary of the plot. They've come up with a way to get rid of unwanted teenagers by basically hacking them into pieces and selling them off for body parts. Don't worry, every portion of the child is used, so it's completely ethical. You don't like your right hand? Don't worry, that 15-year-old's parents didn't like them, so you can have his hand. It all works out for the good of society. Now, what's the survival lesson that you get from this tale? Just because people say it's the right thing to do doesn't make it true. Sometimes you have to think for yourself. It doesn't matter who's telling you what's right and what's wrong. Sometimes you have to stare someone's evil decisions right in the face and say, that's not good for humanity. In fact, that's a terrible thing to do to anyone, and it's wrong. Now, granted, standing up to something that's horribly wrong might not be in your survival's best interest. In fact, you may have to put your neck on the line if, you're going to stop an evil government from hacking children into pieces and selling them for parts. But it's for the survival of mankind, because in the long run, if we let ourselves just, treat people we don't like they shouldn't exist, then are we really worth preserving anyway? So it's not necessarily all about survival of the fittest. It's about survival of decent human beings. And that's worth a lot. And you know what? If a stranger with candy comes up and tells you that hacking children into pieces and, just getting rid of them because no one wants them is a good idea, don't trust that stranger either. So, what lessons have you learned from fantasy and fiction? Did you learn to build a fire? Did you learn some awesome survival tips? Did you, read The Martian and decide that you could in fact survive on Mars if you were abandoned? What survival lessons have you learned? You can reach out to me on Instagram, Twitter. You can post in the comments below. You can send me an email through my website, whatever you like. I want to know what survival tips you have gained. In the meantime, don't forget to follow, subscribe, depending on whatever platform you are on. And I will see you again next week. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.